See, I think that's gonna be a disaster when we need to prepare for it.
Literally everything's on fire.
Be a lot of you have a lot of stress and you will see no results and you will be really frustrated.
This is a good idea. I like it.
Hello. First day of the conference, PGC Barcelona. Just got in, walking around, having some fun and talks. Going to record the episodes of the Founders Depth vlog. Let's see how it goes. Yay! Excited. I just heard you shipped a new tool, including AI, right? That would change the industry.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So basically, we shipped the Metaplay agent today,
Mm-hmm.
which is essentially combines the power of all of these LLMs with all of the information that we have about Metaplay, so all of the documentation, sample code, whatnot, so that our customers, whoever is using Metaplay, can really rapidly, make new prototypes, implement new features into the games, diagnose issues that they have, get, server logs, combine that with understanding of the game project and so forth.
And in general, Metaplay, is it a lot including AI? Like how much AI do you implement it in the company itself?
So this would be the first product thing related to AI that we are now shipping. We do use AI for all kinds of purposes within Metaplay itself, but these will not be public. So I don't know. For example, a lot of our sales and customer prospecting and whatnot is
Outreach and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that one you need to be a bit sensitive about because it kind of shows easily. So it's mainly more on the research part and not so much on the writing part.
So if, for example, AI will die tomorrow, your business will still exist? It will not be affected that much?
It will still exist. This is the first mentioned product addition. We just need to go back to much more old school ways of doing some things. Yeah. We are not really that dependent on AI. Existentially.
But do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for the future?
Question. I do think that we will definitely rely more on AI going forward. But yeah, that I suppose does add some risk as well, but it would be well justified by the benefits it would get.
Awesome. Okay. I'm here at Women in Gaming event organized by Monica and Chris. So far, so good. If the AI dies tomorrow, will your company still exist?
Oh, my company will. The way to think about AI is actually right now to think how exactly what you asked. How would you work tomorrow? Because otherwise you're in a situation that you're relying completely on basically one contractor and you don't have a business. And it happened actually last week, right?
Yeah.
With Fable getting no Fable. So what do we do? I mean, it's really great to leverage AI, but at the same time, I think it's an important opportunity to invest further in people, especially in communication. How would you talk about anything in a year without talking to people, not relying on Claude or ChatGPT? I think that's going to be a disaster when we need to prepare for it. So let's talk.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, and if the money was not a problem, what will you be doing if you had unlimited resources?
Oh, I have a crazy answer. I want to work on AMC show.
What is that?
Interview with the Vampire. I'm sorry. That's the craziest answer, right, to give?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love the show. I've been a fan since I was 14. No, even 13. So, and they're doing it right now, and it's an absolute marvel. So I want to work on it.
Amazing. You always have interesting answers. Thank you very much.
And for example, what do you fear the most in your business? What you're afraid of? Afraid? Yes. Oh, I will be like a guy from Interview with a Vampire. I will give honest answers. I think it's basically an imposter syndrome, that something that you come up with will fail. And no matter how many times you do it, it's still a very painful experience and you need to take responsibility, right? So whenever you start something, it's super scary. So I'm scared right now of a new thing I'm doing. And so basically, if we think about it, is it the fear of failing or is it the fear of dying poor, for example? Depends on the context. I mean, if you have been poor, it's basically a fear of dying in a ditch. I think many people share that fear. But I honestly, I don't think that's a reasonable fear because, for example, I saw amazing communities just living off land. Um, they don't have a lot of money and they're very happy. So you don't need to die in the ditch if you fail. And also, I think I just actually heard an amazing story from one of the people in the gaming industry. Basically, he hired a guy who was failing for 10 years with his own company. And they hired that guy because through 10 years of failing, this guy just amassed so much knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is the call to just be a founder. So, do you have a favorite client? Favorite client? I think this is a thing you shouldn't have. So you think this is not a good thing to have and you don't have it? No, I think having favorite clients is like falling into a toxic relationship because or having someone like favorite coordinate or favorite in the class, it creates too many dependencies. So you gotta strive for everyone to be your favorite client, no matter how just easy they are or how difficult they are. And I think actually easy client is like super easy client is a more dangerous thing. So because it can stab you in the back, it can get relaxed, right? So yeah, I think well, there are of course eight, 80-20 and all of that, and you gotta align your priorities. But having a favorite, it's like what dangerous path, dangerous and toxic. I think no toxicity. Okay, thank you very much.
One question for you, how much AI things did you implemented in the things that you do? How much automation AI, if we say in percentage?
I mean, like not a huge, like 30% maybe.
Okay, so if AI dies tomorrow, your company will still exist. It will not be affected much. Okay, but do you want to do it more like hands-on on AI, or what's the plan?
The way I do it, like first I like do it myself, the things that I understand really what people need. And once I know what they really need, then I build a tool to let it do it without my.
Awesome. So because you are in hiring as well still, right?
Yeah.
Do you use a lot of AI in that
I build
automation?
AI recruiting.
Okay, amazing.
Now with less, but yeah.
But with that, well, if there will be no AI, then the tool will not be existent, no?
Yeah, last year, yeah.
How much AI do you use on a regular basis in terms of percentage?
We use it daily.
Daily.
We use it for analytics. We use it for writing. We use it for better communication, clear communication, especially when you have different languages and cultures.
Between the team members or the clients as well, or how does it work?
It's internal and external. Basically, it becomes a very effective tool for communication first, for tool creation second. The amount of tools people on the business side created for themselves is amazing. We actually meet once a month, share achievements.
Really?
It's everything that the business team wanted and was just nice to have from a technical perspective. Now they just do that themselves.
Amazing. So let's say everyone right now kind of vibe codes in your company?
Pretty much, and we're really encouraging that.
Okay.
Obviously, under all the security,
Of
data,
course,
and
important.
privacy, but but so much more is being done that we actually grow both in terms of manpower and using these tools.
Awesome. And for example, if AI dies out tomorrow, what will change in your business? Will it still exist?
Will be slower, just like if the internet is being gone, right? You need to travel more. Everything will be slower. We don't want AI to go.
Yeah, of course not. But for example, like, was it a game changer for you, like implementation of AI or just discovery of AI, let's say, for your company?
For our company, it was pretty organic. I think pretty much at the same time, I've seen R&D people start to use that, but also business people started to use that. We got data analytics obviously starting to use that. Even, more on the creative side. So it was over the last 12 months, maybe more, it just grew without even sort of a formal program. And just recently we sat down management level and said, how can we do some kind of a program around it? But we'll have, the fact that everybody's using the tools that are right for them to be more effective, grow more, just do it.
Awesome. Thank you. What was the toughest decision you ever made in business?
Once I was building my game, and one day we upload a new version of the game, and all the data from the player was deleted. Yeah, it was a tough one because we changed our database from 2 different servers, and we didn't try if the migration was working well. And when we delivered the game was at 2 a.m. in the morning. And when I just pressed play on my phone just to see if everything was right, we saw that everything was deleted.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the worst moments that I had. And we need to take a really hard decision on the game design itself to see how to manage this problem and to solve it for all the players that have lost all the data. And I think the whole idea of trying to change all the game so that fits the problem with the user without losing the credibility and without losing to give things back when you don't know what people had, and to make that in a way so that they don't lose credibility, but they don't lose their things and you don't break the game itself. It was a really hard thought, and we had to change the whole game in a way so that this works well. That was, I think, the hardest decision that I had to do, and it was like a whole night of thinking and reshaping everything.
But you succeeded?
Yeah. We did great. Everybody was really happy. We didn't break anything, and the economy kept going perfectly. And we didn't lose track and no bad reviews. We managed it really well.
Awesome. So how does it work for you in terms of work-life balance as being a founder who, especially at this moment, fundraises, right? So how do you see your work-life balance at this moment?
There's no work-life balance for me. I think work-life balance is quite important for many people. There are some people that stress it has a lot of consequences, and it's really important to have a good work-life balance so that your brain also can relax and you can recover for your work. But the thing is that when you're building stuff, you have to work day and night, and most of the time you don't have work-life balance, and even most of the time you don't even succeed. So that's the truth. The idea is that to found something from zero, like at my age, I'm really young. I'm just 24. I started at 22. And if you start at that age, it's really hard to fundraise. It's really hard to do anything because anyone will believe in you. Yeah. And what you have to do is build things that already are successful before even fundraise. So you have to develop, test, try, and learn all the time to get something fast at my age. So there's no thing like work-life balance. If you want to be a young founder, this is not like the whole idea that many people think that it's like Steve Jobs in your garage. That has nothing to do with that. You just work hard. Most of the time you don't get it. If you want to get it, you have to refuse your work-life balance to try to get it. It's just like another style. It's a lifestyle. It's not for everyone, I think. You really need to be passionate about what you're doing. If you're not passionate, you don't do it for money, because you will fail and you will be you have a lot of stress, and you will see no results, and you will be really frustrated, and you will lose your friends, you will lose your girlfriend, and everything you had in your life, even your health. And if you do it for nothing, you know, it's the most probability is for do it for nothing. You feel really bad. So if you do it for passion, because you won't succeed. Like it's really probably that you won't succeed. So if you're not passionate about it, you're giving everything away for nothing.
Quick question, like why you decided to become a founder?
Because I love product making. I love product solving. I was content creator, worked for Scopely in Samba guys. And as I went deep into the team and learned about the game itself, the community, I saw what I love doing is finding problems in the game or in the community and see how to solve it. And I said, okay, let's try it myself. Let's try to build a thing my own, because I love the responsibility. I love responsibility. I love when things went wrong because of me, and when things were good because of me. Because I think when everything depends on you is when you learn. Because if something fails and you don't know if it's your fault or someone else's fault, you don't know if you have something to improve. So I love building. I love founding things, because that makes me grow more and to learn more about everything that I'm doing. And it's really important to iterate fast. I think that's the main reason that I always like to found things and build things my own instead of trying to go in another way, right? Like going maybe for hiring or things like that. It's really common, and it's thing that I've been thinking about, because if you want to build something great and successful, it's really much easier to start from inside of the industry, learn the basics, and then go yourself. And I know this is the right path and the more established path, but myself, since I was young, like 19 in university, I like building things. I was not like really successful, but it was not bad for me. I can found some my projects. So I keep on doing it like a rail, you know, you just keep going. And I love this thing of the responsibility and all to take all the decision for the product that you have. I love that.
Well, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
Yay. If AI dies tomorrow, will your company still exist?
Yep.
Why?
Because the feedback comes from real people, and that I think will never go away.
Really?
You can making a game, or you're making it for AI or people. So like if you want feedback, you're gonna have to get feedback from people. So I'm not talking bots, I'm talking like how do you feel about this game?
Okay.
That's
So you're just optimizing the processes inside of AI, or like you're actually using, inside of a company, or you are using it for the, let's say, service deliveries as well?
the biggest role that AI plays in what we do is to summarize all the content, analyze it, and produce it as a report for actionable items.
Okay. So but it is a lot of data. It's like very hard to do it without AI, I know.
True. But this business has been in existence way before AI.
Please like and subscribe.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going straight into the deep. So I'll ask you, what was the pivotal moment for you and your company when it started to grow?
So many things break at first. I think the biggest breaking point for us initially was when the industry moved away from waterfall and into bidding demand. And we were trying to launch remediation, and essentially that's impossible when you don't have access to a lot of bidding demand. So we really had to reinvent ourselves, and that's how NewMid actually came into life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you thought of becoming a founder from early age, or how did it happen to you?
I don't know if early age, I would still consider myself young. No, yeah, I mean, I spent 3 years as a lawyer. I spent 8 years working in finance. And I think when I got my MBA, which was between those two, already had a sense that I wanted to work in tech at some point. It was not easy, but in 2017, I got into tech, and in 2022, I started my own company.
Okay. And what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
No, there's nothing. I mean, it's you need to want it, or it's not for you. I enjoy working for myself. I enjoy building things. I've always enjoyed rethinking rules and rethinking incentives, but I I'm careful to push people into entrepreneurship because if you are not really committed, then it's more of a headache than anything else. You need to be passionate about it.
Yeah. We always say that entrepreneur is the daily problem solver.
Everything's on fire every day. No matter. Look, for us, we're fortunate that the company is doing really well. And even then, every now and then, my co-founder and I, we need to take a step back and look at it at a distance, because if you are always looking at it with a short time frame, literally everything's on fire. So we're only dealing with problems. If you're lucky enough that you grow, the problems get bigger, right? So it's just higher stakes, bigger problems, bigger clients, bigger mess ups. You need to step back every now and then and look at it and reconsider. Unfortunately, for now, it's really working.
If any insight in business or in the industry will be available for you, any kind of information, what would you like to know to make a better business decisions?
Well, definitely the impact of AI on the industry. I think that's huge. And that can mean a lot of things, not just on the adoption rate by studios, but also how it affects user behavior, the explosion of products in the App Store and what that means for discoverability. So I think that's probably something that not enough people pay enough attention to, but it's probably going to be one of the biggest disruptions for the next few years.
Okay. And in terms of like people management, so what do you care the most about, people in general, like maybe it's a professional, maybe it's soft skills, hard skills, when you are acquiring them to your team?
There's an element of intellectual curiosity. So people need to be eager to learn and willing to invest the time needed to get there. There's a degree of honesty, and it's not because people are honest or not honest, but because it's honest about your work. When you deliver something, it has to be the best expression of what was asked of you, and you need to be willing to sit down and even question yourself as to whether something's ready or not, and push yourself to that limit. So there's those two. Soft skills are, of course, extremely important, and how you manage a team is very important. And in general, I think one of the guiding principles that was once given to me, and I try and keep that in mind, is that you should only keep within your team people that you would be willing to fight for, to hold on to. So if there's someone that you're wondering whether they should or should not be on the team, probably the hard, difficult, sad answer is they shouldn't. And then it's a matter of how do you deal with that, and how do you make sure that you hire the right people so you're not in that position frequently.
That's a very good question and an important learning, let's say, along the way. And another question I have for you is, what is the biggest sacrifice you are, doing while having a business?
It's a lot. Look, I'm now in Barcelona. I'll be on the road for 6 weeks. So I was in Hamburg. I'll be in Paris. I was in Madrid. I'm going to be in South Korea. I'm going to be in China. I'll come back to Europe. So it takes a toll. It's really long. Last year I spent like 6 months in Vietnam. Almost had surgery in Vietnam because I was there and I needed. So it takes a lot to not just to build a company, but it's personal commitment, and it's also a commitment that you show your team and your clients that you're willing to go to these extreme lengths to actually build what you're trying to do. And I think that resolve over time pays out.
Thank you very much, and good luck with your company.
Thank you very much.
So tell me, if AI will die tomorrow, will it ruin your business, or what will change?
It will not ruin our business, but it will probably cripple it temporarily. But our platform has a technological foundation that will allow it to continue working in that state. But also, it will be easy to replace what our AI will use right now with something else, maybe even
like what
in-house.
Okay, so like models, but still AI.
Probably, yeah, or some other solutions.
Okay, like automations and stuff, not with the integration.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're very agile, very flexible, so it's not going to be a huge problem. It will be an interesting challenge, I would say.
Okay, and what is the best case scenario that you use with AI? What it helps you to do?
Everything.
Well, thank you, but maybe something more specific.
It helps us analyze the current landscape, like as it is at this minute. So our information is not a week old; it's as of today.
Okay,
so that's probably
up to date.
And also, it helps us to build and use the systems very autonomous, and they work in loops. For example, a couple of weeks ago, created the expert eye system that runs through all of the audits and ensures the quality of those audits from a technical standpoint and from the expert standpoint. And then if something's not quite right, it goes on Slack and creates, like, gives me a list of things that I report you, and then I can go and create tickets and work with that.
Awesome.
So I don't have to go there manually every day.
No more QA, ML. Okay. Awesome.
Manual is lots. That's why we were able to move so fast.
What did bring you to become a founder?
What did bring me to frustration, I think. I was a journalist for about 5-6 years, and I was progressing but not fast enough, and I didn't get the jobs I wanted. And then eventually I co-founded another company, and then ended up founding this media company. So it was kind of frustration and wanting to do things my way, I think.
Okay, awesome. And if we talk about the worst part of being a founder, what would you name?
I think it's the fact that everything comes back to you, which is great in some ways, that you have the power to do things, but it can get quite lonely and quite tiring when things are tough, and they usually are. So every founder goes through a period where things don't go the way they like, and money gets a bit tighter, and then it's all on you, and that weight can get a bit much, but it's part of the game, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And what was the hardest decision you ever made by being a founder?
Hardest decision, it's always about letting people go. We've now got about, in the two companies I'm running, about like 60 staff and like freelancers. And at different times though, we've had to, just projects have gone or the market's changed, we've had to cut back. And letting people go who are part of the team, put so much of their life, their energy and passion in, is always hard. So every time that has to happen, it hasn't happened, touch wood, for a little while, I find that the toughest thing.
And what helps you to make a better business decisions?
I make good business decisions. No,
that's another question.
Yeah, well, it helps me make good. I mean, experience obviously helps. You know, especially once you've done things a few times, making mistakes, you learn your way. I talk to people. I'm quite collaborative, in my approach. Like, Still Media had 6 people when we founded. That's too many. But still, now there's kind of 3 guys and a few others that are kind of making informing decisions. So I think I tend to, certainly the big ideas, I tend to run it past a few people. If I can't convince, a couple of my sort of co-founders or colleagues, then it's probably not the right idea, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any regrets in regards to business decisions or in general business?
Regrets. I have a few. Then again, too few to mention. I think usually there are avenues we could have pushed down. At one point, really early in the games, we were more influential than I know in the games, mobile game space. And I found out lots of stories afterwards. And we had a chance to launch a cross-platform, a cross-game promotion thing. And it was a bit like Chartboost became. Chartboost had just about started. We could have done that, and we had publishers want to do it, developers want to do it. And it just wasn't our thing. We weren't really tech people. And we started playing with it, but just didn't quite think it was ours. But in hindsight, that industry then grew up into this multi-$100 million, billion-dollar companies. And I think I regret not pushing that. And usually regrets I have are probably doors not opened or roads not followed. But yeah, I don't tend to regret anything we've done. Even if it was wrong, you've learned something from it. I tend to have regrets about things I've not done.
Yeah, that makes sense a lot. As being a founder, like, it's better to do something and, experience and, let's say, lessons learned stuff, right? Then
100%. You'll get something out of it, even if it's just don't do that again, or it's just you'll learn. Oh, actually, well, that didn't work, but I can see there's a thing here. You always learn something from that. There's this whole thing. I'm not like from the tech West Coast, but like that whole fail fast thing is what is the mantra of the Silicon Valley. And I think trying stuff is important. I may have failed slow in a lot of things or in stages, but I think it's important to try stuff. That's otherwise, why just do the same thing? If you're in business, just do incrementally the same thing year on year. I get quite bored by that.
And have some fun along the way, right?
Have some fun, exactly. This is why I run conferences. We run a lot of parties. We started the conference business because we ran media, and then people said, "Oh, you know everybody. Can you throw a party?" We threw a party, got paid to throw a party, and I thought, my God, this is a brilliant business. I can have fun, get with my friends, and get paid. And I think the industry is fun. That's one of the reasons I'm still in it at the grand old age of still doing the games, because it's a fun industry. Yeah.
Awesome. And for example, if you can name one, let's say, business insight you wish you knew from the beginning, what is it?
Oh, that's a good one. One business insight wish I knew from the beginning. I think it would probably about don't try. It would be about trying things. We not be afraid. I think, like I say, this, as I said before, the projects the regrets I have are not pursuing things. So I wasn't sure I could do it. I mean, we took quite a long time to do our conferences because we thought, oh, that was quite hard. We haven't done conferences before. But when we did it, there was struggles. We got into it quite quickly. It's been very successful. So I think the insight I have is just don't wait. It's just if you've got a good idea and you've got a passion, and passion is really important. Just having an idea going, I think that makes money on its own. It's not really good enough reason to do it. You've got to want to do it because it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I think is act on it. Go, right, okay, this is a good idea. I like it. I might not have all the answers, but let's just go for it. So that, I don't know if that's an insight, but that's the thing I would say.
Let's say think less, do more.
Yeah, I mean, thinking's not bad, but you'll have plenty of time. Yeah. I think you can, if you can second guess exactly overthinking. That's the danger. If you can rationalize all the reasons you shouldn't do a thing or what could go wrong, you won't end up doing anything. I think that a lot of people get into that trap where it's like, well, this isn't really our business, and we haven't really done that, and it might not work. And I think, it probably won't work. A lot of things don't work, but it might work, and you should try it, right?
Thank you very much. And that's it for the Day 2 conference of PGC Barcelona.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.